Good morning, boys and girls. It's good to see you again. I missed you last week. We did not record the story last week, so we have 2 chapters to record, and I'll catch you up in case you've forgotten. This is The Secret of the Hidden Scrolls, and it's the race to the Ark. And if you remember anything, I'm sure you do, it's about Peter and Mary, who are gone back in time to when Noah built the ark for all the animals before God sent the big flood. So remember, they have to figure out what 6 words mean, and we have 2 of them. We have blank God, blank will, blank blank. And they're trying to solve that within 7 days, or they're stuck back in Noah's day forever. All right, so let's catch up. If you remember, back in chapter 8 at the end, Peter was writing in his journal for day 2. The ark is much bigger than I imagined, about as long as 2 football fields. I saw thousands of animals and more keep coming. I'm not sure what some of them are. Noah and his family are the only nice people we have met. Isn't that sad? They are taking care of us, and we have lots of work to do before the flood comes. Peter closed the journal and fell asleep with Hank curled up next to him. Chapter 9. All aboard! The next morning, Noah woke Peter and Mary for a breakfast meeting. Noah's wife told them to get something to eat before Ham ate it all. Peter did not have to be told twice. He dug into the eggs. "We need a plan to get the animals on the ark," Noah said. "It's Mary," said Peter with his mouth full of food. "She knows everything about animals." "What do you think, Mary?" said Shem, that's one of Noah's sons. "Where should we put all the animals?" Mary unrolled one of Noah's blank scrolls. She drew an ark with lines across it for 3 floors. She wrote the word big on the bottom floor and said, "The bottom floor is tall and has bigger cages." So you can imagine big animals have to go in the bottom floor. She drew a bear on the bottom floor. "If an animal is bigger than a bear, bring it to the bottom floor. It will be a good place for animals like elephants, hippos, rhinos, bears, and buffaloes. Oh my." "Well, what about the middle floor?" asked Shem. Mary wrote the word medium on the scroll. "Move the medium-sized animals to the middle floor. It is a good place for animals like sheep, pigs, deer, wolves, lions, tigers, alligators, and kangaroos. Just don't put the wolves and the sheep next to each other. I wonder why." "Should we put the monkeys in the middle?" said Peter. He laughed. No one else did. Mary looked at Peter without blinking. You get the idea. She drew a monkey on the middle floor. Ham took a bite of banana. "Well, what about the top floor?" Mary wrote the word small on the scroll. "Well, take the tiny animals to the top floor. It is perfect for turtles, rabbits, raccoons, bats, bugs, butterflies, and birds. Lots of birds." Noah stood up. "We have a plan." "We will all work together," said Shem. "Yes," said Mary. "Teamwork makes the dream work." "That's what my mom always says," Peter said. He was really starting to miss his parents. Everyone headed off to the ark to start bringing in the big animals. Hank barked at them and chased them into the cages. After all, he was a herding dog. Peter hopped on the back of a horse and joined Hank. They chased the cow and bull into a cage. Mary shut the cage door. "Yee-haw! I'm a cowboy!" shouted Peter. What is a cowboy?" said Shem. "It's a guy who rides a horse," said Peter. "Why don't you call them horseboys?" asked Shem. Peter shrugged. "I don't know." Once all the big animals were in, they began to bring in the medium animals. "Everybody, stand back!" shouted Mary. "Here comes the alligators!" Peter shut them in their cage. "They don't look like they're in a good mood this morning." The lions and tigers went into their cages. Peter slammed the doors quickly. He could not believe he was this close to wild animals. "Help with these monkeys!" shouted Ham. "I cannot reach them." The monkeys had climbed up the wooden beams and were swinging from the roof. Peter ran down to the bottom floor and got one of the giraffes. Makes sense, like a ladder. Back on the monkey deck, he climbed up the giraffe's tall neck, but he still could not reach them. "I have an idea," said Mary. She ran to the kitchen and came back with a bunch of bananas. She held them in the air and the monkeys swung down. She tossed the bananas into their cage and the monkeys followed. When the middle floor was full, the group ate lunch before they began to gather the small animals and birds. Peter carried the turtles to the top floor. Hank chased the squirrels into their cage. "Everyone duck!" shouted Peter as the birds flew through the top windows. Colorful feathers were everywhere. Peter shut the last door of the last cage. "We did it!" shouted Noah. "All the animals and birds are in the ark." Peter tried to give Noah a high five, but Noah just looked at Peter's hand. That was awkward," Peter mumbled. After a big dinner, everyone headed off to their bedrooms. Peter took out Great Uncle Solomon's journal and wrote about his exciting day. Day 3. "Hank is great at herding the animals. I hope we have enough food. My back is sore from riding the horse, and Mary sneezed all day. I'm not sure if she's more allergic to hay or to work. And those monkeys are going to drive me crazy." Ding, ding. Peter tossed the journal in the bag and scrambled to the door. Noah was running down the hall ringing a bell. Now Noah is 600 years old, so Noah running might be an unusual sight. "We have an emergency," said Noah. "The monkeys escaped and are letting out all the other animals." They ran to the middle deck where monkeys were swinging through the ark. Animals were everywhere. Those monkeys have been a problem. Peter pushed the sheep back into their cage. Ham pulled the pigs into theirs, and Mary used a net to catch the birds. Japheth grabbed the turtles. They had not gotten very far. Finally, Noah's wife found some more bananas and tricked the monkeys again. Peter, Mary, and Hank made one last round to make sure all the animals were in their cages, and the doors were shut tight. Peter stopped at the tiger's cage and stared. There was only one tiger. There were supposed to be 2 of everything, male and female. "I think we have a problem," he shouted. Mary and Hank were there in a flash. "What is wrong now?" Mary said. Peter pointed at the half-empty cage. Peter whirled around. The missing tiger was crouched low, and he was creeping right toward them. Chapter 10. A big problem. Would that be the tiger or something else? Hank growled at the tiger, but the tiger snarled and crept forward. Roar! Peter turned toward the new sound. A lion was standing on top of the tiger's cage. The lion roared again, and the tiger backed into the cage. Then the lion leaped down and walked back into his own cage. Peter slammed the doors shut. "I see why they call you the king of the beasts. Peter's heart was still pounding as he climbed into bed. It seemed like just a few minutes until Peter heard echo through the ark. Is it already time to get up? Asked Mary. Peter opened the door and held his nose. Yuck, what is that smell? Well, what do you think it is? Said Mary. All these animals have to go to the bathroom somewhere. Ew, think about it. Japheth walked up to Peter and handed him a shovel. You are with me on cleanup duty. Peter gagged. I hope this does not take very long. Japheth's wife walked toward them. Mary, you can come with me, and we are going to collect some chicken eggs for breakfast. Mary waved as they walked up the ramp. Have fun! Can you imagine? Oh, thousands and thousands of animals having to go to the bathroom somewhere? Peter shook his head. Why did Mary always get the easy jobs? Japheth opened the first cage and shoveled out the mess. He walked all the way to the door of the ark and threw it out. This is going to take forever, said Peter, but I have an idea. What? Said Japheth. Do you have a big box and wheels and 2 poles? Said Peter. Yes, said Japheth, in the shop. Well, let's go, said Peter. Within a few minutes, Peter had made a wheelbarrow. What does it do? Said Japheth. Peter put it on the floor and rolled it around. You can shovel the mess in here, and then I can roll it to the dump outside. Japheth seemed impressed, and after that, cleanup duty did not take long at all. I doubt that. That's still a lot of mess to clean up. After breakfast, it was time to feed the animals, and with so many animals, it took all day. Before they went to bed that night, Noah said, Let's sing praises to God. Musical instruments were brought out, and Shem played the horn, and his wife played music on the harp, and everyone sang out loud. Where did you get the instruments? Asked Mary. My brother Jubal made them, said Noah. I did not know you had a brother, said Peter. Noah's shoulders slumped. Yes, but he died several years ago, and he was one of the last people who had faith in God. Shem's wife strummed the harp. We remember him by playing music. The sun went down, and Peter, Mary, and Hank went to bed. Peter wrote in his journal, Day 4. Mary is getting all of the easy jobs, and I was stuck on cage cleaning duty. Elephants and hippos make a big mess, if you know what I mean. I think the ark is almost ready. It was fun to sing with Noah's family, and I'm glad they are keeping music alive. The next morning, echoed through the ark again. That rooster is getting on my nerves, said Peter. At breakfast, Peter asked something he had been thinking about. Noah, how did you know how big to make the ark and it be the perfect size for all the animals? God told me, said Noah. He said to build it 300 cubits long and 50 cubits wide and 30 cubits tall. What's a cubit? Peter asked. Mary put down her bread. A cubit is an ancient measurement. Who are you calling ancient? Said Noah. I'm only 600 years old. And everyone laughed. A cubit is about 16 inches, said Mary. So that means the ark is about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet wide. Peter shook his head. How do you know that? I read it in a book titled Ancient Measurement, How Do We Measure Up? Said Mary. Of course she did, thought Peter. I guess God knew what he was doing, said Peter. I did everything God told me, Noah said. You can trust God. Peter was amazed how much Noah and his family trusted God, especially since no one else in the world did. Peter, Mary, and Hank spent the day checking to make sure all the animals were in their cages. "We have another big problem," said Mary. "There's only one wolf, the female." "Huh, why is that a big problem?" asked Mary. "Remember the book I showed you at Great Uncle Solomon's house?" Peter nodded. "All dogs come from wolves," said Mary. Peter stared blankly. "If we don't have male and female wolf," Mary paused. She looked at Hank and continued, "there won't be any dogs in the future." "Oh, we'd better find that wolf," shouted Peter. "Ruff!" barked Hank. Peter searched from one end of the ark to the other. He looked behind every cage and under every table, but there was no male wolf. Before going to sleep, Peter wrote in the journal. Day 5. We have to find the male wolf. If we don't, there won't be any dogs in the future. That means no Hank. I'm also worried that we still have 4 words to solve in the scroll. We only have 2 days left. To be continued. So if they're out looking for the other wolf, do you think Shadow, that wolf that was so mean in the beginning of the story, might be the wolf they need to find? Or not? Well, I hope you come back next week to find out. Until then, you can trust God. Be safe. Wash your hands. Wear your mask if you can. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week.